Let's bring in Gerber Kawasaki co-founder and CEO Ross Gerber and CNET managing editor Russell Hawley. Let me start with Russell. Tell me the excitement that Google could possibly generate here. And I say that because Google has about 8 subsidiaries doing more than $1 billion in business. If they do well, they check a lot of those important boxes, from ad revenue to the cloud to everything else.
That's right. This has been an incredibly big year for Google in a couple of ways that aren't necessarily attached to Google, the brand. You know, Waymo has had a couple of really interesting partnerships with self-driving cars. We know that the Android brand has continued to grow. Google's Pixel phones were not as popular as, say, Samsung or Apple this year, but still growing pretty well. I really think the only area of concern would be its kind of smart home lineup, which is just not competing with Amazon right now.
Ross, you own Google. Tell me what you believe is the number one reason to own this stock, no matter how the numbers come in.
YouTube. YouTube is television. They have just dominated viewing for younger people. And the way that YouTube has become a source of so many places, whether it be financial information, how to just gaming on YouTube, it's just amazing. And they can drive their ad rev business by now offering ad rev on live television through YouTube TV Live, as well as on YouTube, as well as on the traditional platform. So for advertisers, they're getting more value than ever from using Google, but they're also getting a lot more engaged eyeballs on YouTube than they are on traditional television. So it's really a super powerful part of Google, is the fact that YouTube has become television for most young people.
Okay, but do they break out the YouTube numbers? I mean, I know it's billions in revenue that it hauls in, but specifically...
Yeah, they break out the general revenue number.
Okay,
but what
the general revenue.
Yeah, but I think that these numbers are growing very rapidly, but it makes being a Google advertiser more valuable than being an advertiser on Instagram, for example, where they don't really have a video platform like YouTube. And the engagement on YouTube is so intense relative to other types of viewing that advertisers are getting a lot more value for their dollar advertising on YouTube than before.
Okay.
So we just really see this driving their overall ad business to new heights. And it is the future of television is YouTube and Netflix, basically.
Well, one of the things that Alphabet does not break out are the hardware numbers, I know. And if they're going, Russell, as we dovetail to Facebook Meta, to the Metaverse, and they're going to, I would imagine, put out new Google glasses or some type of virtual reality headset. Tell me what you're expecting from Facebook and what investors should look for here on this report.
Yeah, so I mean, the next generation for Facebook and Meta is going to continue its hardware play. You know, one of the things that we've seen in the past couple of years is Google has kind of taken things behind scenes, and Sony has waited quite a while for its headset to come out, and you know, Microsoft is focusing on enterprise right now. Is that the front and center brand is the Oculus Quest headset, which will this coming year be rebranded to the Meta Quest headset, and the next version of that is expected to do a great deal more inside of your home, not just putting on a bulky headset and playing games, but also being able to identify where, you know, physical things are in your house, maybe to stop you from accidentally punching your television when you're playing a game too hard. There's just a lot of, you know, kind of individual identifiers like that you can kind of, you know, see being a big part of the push into the next year, including things like hand tracking and eye tracking and you know, creating that more dynamic experience is going to be a big part of next year.
Ross, you don't own Facebook. Is it because of the regulatory overhang? I mean, everybody talks about how D.C. and Congress may try and break up this company.
No, we don't own Facebook for ethical reasons. We think Facebook is one of the biggest causes of unhappiness in the world. So, you know, we just don't want to be involved with them. But that being said, you know, their foray into the metaverse is like, they are so off on a broken ship in the middle of nowhere. It's like amazing because they know that their core users on Instagram are dropping off and younger people are using Roblox and other platforms for social media. But like the issue that Facebook really faces in virtual reality is Oculus is at best a decent headset and it's super bulky. And I think competitors like Apple are going to come out with much better headsets in the future. So, you know, I think Facebook is desperate to find relevance now in the future, and I don't think they found it.
Yeah, and let's not forget CES. I sat there with the Qualcomm CEO who told me that he has struck this big deal with Microsoft to create a virtual reality or a metaverse headset. So
And,
there are a
and
lot of competitors, certainly in that area.
And we're super bullish on Microsoft. Like, they are doing everything right in the metaverse and in gaming, Apple as well. So to me, Facebook's just like trying to find relevance when all the other players are going to take their lunch.
I want to get to Amazon. You know, if Facebook is expected to come in with 33 billion in revenues, Amazon dwarfs everybody here. 137.5 billion expected for revenues when they come out with numbers on Thursday. Russell, what do you expect that they will say about the supply chain difficulties? Do you think that could ding numbers, or have they managed around it?
I definitely think that there's going to be quite a bit to be said about supply chain difficulties, but also the trends in which people are shopping. You know, the way in which people are going on and doing things are not meeting the expectations that Amazon itself set a couple of years ago and continue to set throughout the last year. A really good example of that, anyone who owns any of the Alexa branded devices that have a screen on them, they've gotten considerably pushier in the last year about trying to encourage you to recommend a shop through voice. This was supposed to be the big thing about this past year is flooding the market with Amazon devices. 69% of all smart home devices are owned by Amazon. And very few of them are used for shopping, which was the thing that Amazon said was going to happen next. So I think that there's going to be a lot of conversation about supply chain, but I also think shopping intent is going to be a big part of the focus, and it could not all be positive.
Great to see you both. Ross Gerber, Russell Hawley, Amazon right now up about 2/3%. Gentlemen, thank you. As the U.S. and Russia clash over